Okay, guys. Excuse me. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. No, okay. Yeah, excuse me. I just went and I just saw some water and went down the wrong way. But anyway, okay. So I'm on page 467. Um, Second paragraph. Chapter 4, Tree Beard, from Book 3, Return of the King, from the trilogy of The Lord of the Rings, written by JRR Tolkien. So here we go. Uh, Holding the hobbits gently but firmly, one in the crook of each arm, Treebeard lifted up first one large foot and then the other, and moved them to the edge of the shelf. The root-like toes grasped the rocks. Then carefully and solemnly he stalked down from step to step and reached the floor of the forest. At once he set off with long, deliberate strides through the trees, deeper and deeper into the wood, never far from the stream, climbing steadily up towards the slopes of the mountains. Many of the trees seemed asleep, or as unaware of him as any other creature that nearly passed by. But some quivered, and some raised up their branches above his head as he approached. All the while, as he walked, he talked to himself in a long-running stream of musical sounds. The hobbits were silent for some time. They felt, oddly enough, safe and comfortable, and they had a great deal to think and wonder about. At last, Pippin ventured to speak again. "Please, Treebeard," he said, "could I ask you something? Why did Celeborn warn us against your forest? He told us not to risk getting entangled in it." Did he now?" grumbled Treebeard. "And I thought I might have said much the same if you had been going the other way. Do not risk getting entangled in the woods of Lorelindor running on. That is what the elves used to call it. But now they make the name shorter. Lothlorien, they call it. Perhaps they are right. Maybe it is fading, not growing. Land of the Valley of Singing Gold. That is it, was it. Once upon a time. Now it is the Dream Flower. Oh, well. But it is a queer place. And not for just anyone to venture in. I am surprised that you ever got out, but much more surprised that you ever got in. That has not happened to strangers for many a year. It is a queer land. And so is this. Folk have come to grief here. Aye, they have. To grief. Lindorlon, Rigidor, Molinor, Nilion, O Nor Molion, he hummed to himself. They are falling rather behind the world in their yes, he said. Neither this country nor anything else outside the Golden Wood is what it was when Celeborn was young. Still, Taralilumia, Tumalia, Tubla, Lord, that is what they used to say. Now, things have changed, but it is still true in places. What do you mean? Said Pippin. What is true? The trees and the ants, said Treebeard. I do not understand all that goes on myself, so I cannot explain it to you. Some of us are still true ants and lively enough in our fashion, but many are growing sleepy, going tree-ish, as you might say. Most of the trees are just trees, of course, but many are half awake. Some are quite wide awake, and a few are, well, getting eachish. That is going on all the time. When that happens to a tree, you find that some have bad hearts. Nothing to do with the wood. I do not mean that. Why, I knew some good old willows down there in the entrance gone long ago. Alas, they were quite hollow. Indeed, they were falling all to pieces, but as quiet and sweet spoken as a young leaf. And then there were some reasoning follies out of the mountains, sad as a bell and bad right through. That sort of thing seems to spread. There used to be some very dangerous parts in this country. There are still some very black patches, like the old forest away to the north. Do you mean? Asked Mary. Something like, but much worse, I do not doubt. There is some shadow of the great darkness lying there still away north, and bad memories are handed down. But there are hollow dales in the land where the darkness has never been lifted, and the trees are older than I am. Still, we do what we can. We keep off strangers and the foolhardy, and we train and we teach. We walk and we read. We are tree herds, are we old ants? You enough of us are left now. Sheep get like shepherds, and shepherds like sheep. It is said, but slowly, and neither have long in the world. It is quicker and closer with the trees and ants, and they walk down the ages together. For ants are more like elves, less interested in themselves than men are, and better at getting inside other things. And yet again, ants are more like men, more changeable than elves are, and quicker at taking the color of the outside. You might say are better than both when they are steadier and keep their minds on things longer. Some of my kin look just like trees now and need something great to rouse them, and they speak only in whispers. But some of my trees are limb-linked, and many can talk to me. Elves begin, of course, waking trees up and teaching them to speak and learn the tree talk. They always wish to talk to everything. The old elves did, but then the great darkness came and they passed away over the sea, or fled into far valleys, or hid themselves and made songs about the days that will never come again. Never again. There was all one wood. Once upon a time, from here to the mountains of Lugo, and this was just the east end. Those were the broad days. Time was I could walk and sing all day and hear no more than the echo of my own voice in the hollow wheels. The woods were like the woods of North Lorien, only thicker, stronger, younger, and the smell of the air. I used to spend a week just breathing. David fell silent, striding along, and yet making hardly a sound with his great feet. And then he began to hum again and passed into a murmuring chant. Gradually, the hobbits became aware that he was chanting to them. In the willow means the times, green night, I walked in the spring, and the sight and the smell of the spring, and the stars and yawn. And I said that was good. I wandered in summer in the elm woods of Osirian. Light and the music in the summer light, 7 rivers of Osir. And I thought that was best. To the beaches of Netherlands, I came in the autumn. The gold and the lid and the sign of leaves in the autumn in Tornado. It was more than my desire to the pine trees upon the highland of Dorthorn. I climbed in the winter. The wind and the moistness on the black branches of winter. Upon Rudolph Knothorns, my voice went up and sang in the sky. And down all those lands fly under the waves. And I walk in Amberina, Everona, in San Ramona, in Aldalone, in my own land and the country of Foghorn, where the roots are long and the years lie thicker than the leaves. It toiled more than I normally. He ended and strode on silently, and in all the wood as far as ear could reach, there was not a sound. The day waned, and dust was twined about the bones of the trees. At last the hobbits saw, rising dimly before them, a steep, dark land. They had come to the feet of the mountains and to the green roots of tall methodros. Down the hillside, the young Entwash, leaping from its springs high above, ran noisily, step on step, to meet them. On the right of the stream, there was a long slope clad with grass now gray in the twilight. No trees grew there, and it was open to the sky. Stars were shining already in lakes between shores of cloud. Treebeard strode up the slope, hardly slackening his pace. Suddenly, before them, the hobbit saw a wide opening. Two great trees stood there, one on either side, like living gateposts. But there was no gate save their crossing and interrolling bows. As the old ants' gate saved their crossing and interrolling bows, as the old ant approached, the trees lifted up their branches and all their leaves quivered and rustled. For they were evergreen trees, and their leaves were dark and polished and gleamed in the twilight. Beyond them was a wide level space, as though the floor of the great hall had been cut in the side of the hill. On either hand, the walls sloped upwards until they were 50 feet high or more. Or along each wall stood an aisle of trees that also increased in height as they marched inwards. At the far end, the rock wall was sheer, but at the bottom, it had been hollowed back into a shallow bay with an arched roof, the only roof of the hall, save the branches of the trees, which at the inner end overshadowed all the ground, leaving only a broad open path in the middle. A little stream escaped from the springs above, and leaving the main water, fell twinkling down the sheer face of the wall, pouring in silver drops like a fine curtain in front of the archway. The water was gathered again into a stone basin in the floor beneath between the trees, and thence it spilled and flowed away beside the open path out to rejoin the ant wash in its journey through the forest. Here we are, says Treebird, breaking his long silence. I have brought you about 20,000 it strides, but what that comes to in the measurement of your land, I do not know. Anyway, we are near the roots of the last mountain. Part of the name of this place might be Hall. If it were turned into your language, I like it. We will stay here tonight. He set them down on the grass between the aisles of the trees, and they followed him towards the great arch. The province now noticed that as he walked, his knees hardly bent, but his legs opened in a great stride. He planted his big toes, and they were indeed big and very broad on the ground first for any other part of his feet. For a moment, Treebeard stood under the rain of the falling spring and took a deep breath. Then he laughed, and he passed aside a great stone table. Stood there, with no chairs. At the back of the bay, it was already dark. Treebeard lifted two great vessels and stood them on the table, and they seemed to be filled with water, but he held his hands over them. Immediately, they began to glow, one with a golden and the other with a rich green light, and the blending of the two lights lit the bay as if the sun of summer was shining through a roof of young leaves. Looking back, the hobbit saw that the trees in the court had also begun to glow, faintly at first, but steadily quickened quickening until every leaf was edged with light, some green, some gold, some red as copper, while the tree trunks looked like pillars molded out of luminous stone. Well, well, now we can talk again, said Treebeard. You are thirsty, I expect. Perhaps you are also tired. Drink this. He went to the back of the bay, and then they saw that several tall stone jars stood there with heavy lids. He removed one of the lids and dipped in a great ladle, and with it filled 3 bowls, one very large bowl and 2 smaller ones. This is an inn house, he said, and there are no seats, I fear, but you may sit on the table. Picking up the hobbits, he set them on the great stone slab, 6 feet above the ground, and then there they sat, dangling their legs and drinking in sips. And the drink was like water. Indeed, they are like they like the taste they, they're like the taste of the draughts they had drunk from the ant wash near the waters of the forest, and yet there was some scent or savor in it which could not describe. It was faint, but it reminded them of the smell of the distant woodboard, far from a cool breeze at night. The effect of the drop began at the toes and rose steadily through every limb, bringing refreshment and vigor as it coursed upwards, right to the tips of the hair. Indeed, the hounds felt that the hair on their heads was actually standing up, waving, curling, and growing. As for Treebeard, and he first laid his feet in the basin beyond the arch, and then he drained his bowl at one draught. One long, slow draught. The hobbits thought he would never stop. At last, he set the bowl down. Ah, ah, he sighed. Hmm, hmm. Now we can talk easier. You can sit on the floor and I will lie down. That will prevent this drink from rising into my head and send me to sleep. I'm going to have to stop, people. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to stop. And, okay, so I'm going to go ahead because I know a lot of people are having a lot of things to do today. And I realized that it's a school night, and also we're going to go ahead and let's see. We're still a little ways away. And I'm going to go ahead and read a little bit hopefully tomorrow. But other than that, I'm going to see because I want to be making a big decision on what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. But anyway, besides the point, I hope everyone is enjoying this book as much as I am. And I hope everyone knows where everyone is at right now. Everyone's got their Gandalf PSs on and know what now we got what? 3 separate groups now. So where are they now? Where are they now? I'm going to leave everyone to discuss that with with whomever you're with, your parent or your brother, sister, wherever, whoever's taking care of you, whoever your friends or whatever. I'm gonna let you go ahead and let you go. Uh, Safe travels. Take care.